Hi PCC kids! Today we're going to be talking about something super exciting. But first of all, I need you all to close your eyes. No peeking. I'm watching you. Alright, now imagine this. If you were standing right next to a pool, you're having a fun summer day, the sun is shining, you're about to jump in the deep end, and you've got floaties galore. You've got the giant ring floating. You've got a pool noodle. You've got floaties on your arms. You are gonna float better than anyone else. You are ready. Then, all of a sudden, out of the corner of your eye, you see a friend. Now, this friend isn't really good at swimming, but they decided to jump in the deep end anyway, and they're kind of struggling. And then they start to ask for help because they can't get up. They're drowning. Now, what do? Do you throw them a floaty? Because you've got tons of them, right? Or do you just tell them that they should have gotten a floaty before they got in and walk away? All right, go ahead and open your eyes. I know most of you are thinking, well, of course I would throw them a floaty. In fact, I hope all of you guys are thinking that because that would be the right thing to do. But there's someone in the Bible who was in a similar situation and he chose to walk away. Now that someone's name is Jonah. We talked about Jonah last week. And Jonah, if you remember, he chose to run away when God asked Jonah to go to Nineveh. Now Nineveh was a place full of really mean people. These people were really angry all the time. They probably had super angry eyebrows. They were not nice to their friends. They did not listen to their parents. They had mean words all the time. They had mean thoughts all the time. Angry eyebrows in their thoughts. And they did mean things to people all the time. They hurt people with their thoughts, their words, and their actions. These people were drowning in sin, and they had no way out. They had no idea who God was. They'd never heard of him before. And that's why God told Jonah to go to the Ninevites. Because Jonah would have been able to tell them about who God was. Jonah could have been their lifesaver, but he chose not to be. Instead, he ran as far as he possibly could. Well, actually, he got in a boat and he sailed away as far as he possibly could, which actually turned out to not be that far. Because Jonah, when he got in his boat, a giant storm came. The waves were massive. That's a wave. And all the other people who were on the boat were screaming their heads off. Ah! He's very scared. Because this storm was not just a storm that they could ride through and be fine the next morning. No, this was a storm that would have destroyed their boat because the waves were so huge they would have crashed on top. And they probably would have all died. Now, Jonah was down in the bottom of the boat taking a nap because he was running away, remember? And he wasn't really thinking about anyone else but himself. And even though these other people on the boat were freaking out and they were like, we don't know what to do, we're gonna die, Jonah was just sleeping. Eventually, the people who were on the boat went down below and they brought Jonah up, and they were like, Jonah, do you have any idea what is going on? And Jonah knew. Jonah knew that he had disobeyed God and that this was all his fault, but instead he was like, I don't know. So instead of choosing to help the people here by giving them the true answer that he was the one running away from God, he decided to keep it a secret. But you know what? Eventually, the whole crew found out that Jonah was the one who had disobeyed God. And Jonah knew that he had to jump into the sea. So he did. In fact, all the guys probably helped him and threw him overboard. And as soon as that happened, the storm stopped. The water was peaceful. The boat was sailing so calmly. It was like a lovely day on the sea. Now Jonah was the one drowning. He was being disciplined by God. Because remember, he disobeyed what God asked him to do. When God asked him to go and save the Ninevites, to tell them about who God was, Jonah didn't listen. He did the exact opposite. He ran away. And now he's in big trouble. And he has to ask God for forgiveness. Which Jonah does, which is really exciting. And then God saves Jonah in an absolute crazy way, which we're going to talk about later. But for now, I want you guys to remember that image that we were talking about earlier. If you had that friend in the water, would you throw them a flotation device or would you just leave them to drown? Well, of course you would want to save them. I have another question for you. If you were Jonah, would you have run away from Nineveh? Would you have gone the opposite way? What Jonah had to do was really scary, but obviously running away was not the right way to do things. I know telling your friends about Jesus might be a scary thing, but trust me, it's gonna bring about the most amazing thing ever, and that's bringing them to Jesus, giving them the chance to spend forever in heaven with God. So really, go out there and be a lifesaver. All right, guys, it was so fun learning about how we all have the chance to save lives. I hope you have an awesome week. See you again soon.